we are at Birch Creek RV Park in Birchwood, Wisconsin. This is kind of the layout of the place. It isn't bad. Pretty well kept up. It's out in Birchwood, Wisconsin. Kind of out in the sticks, but not very far from Birchwood. There's our vehicle. There's our fifth wheel. And Sheely just made our map of the United States and kind of the states we have been to and some other distinct places right there. She made that. I think that was a very good job. She did great on that. And this is the fifth wheel we've been running on. We've had some issues with it, but here, since it's had its little maintenance job back about a month ago, it's been doing pretty good. So we have hot water now again, and we're doing what we want to do. And we're in Wisconsin for about a week. We're going to see some friends and do some things. And yeah, so here's the campground again. It's Bear Creek RV Park. Nice. It was easy to get into. Pretty simple. We have a pull through. So yeah, we're looking forward to our adventures here, and we'll keep you posted. All right, good morning. It is 11, about 15-ish on Monday, August 18th, 2025. Today, we are going to the Apostle Island up in northern Wisconsin and Minnesota, kind of on the border there. Or is it more in Wisconsin?
It's in Wisconsin, but it's on the north side of Lake Superior, or on the south side of Lake Superior, and Minnesota's on the, north side's Minnesota. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna go there. Anyway. It's cloudy, it's kind of icky, but we're gonna go check it out. We're gonna do some filming up there and keep you guys posted. So this is our first kind of trip since we've been here. Been spending some time with my mom and a couple other things we've been doing that we decided today, Apostle Island. We're going. She's got her Big Joe Helms shirt on. Yeah, we're supporting Big Joe. Army retired shirt. All right, so we'll film throughout the day and we'll keep you posted. We'll talk to you later. All right, we are at the Great Lakes Visitor Center. Taking a little break. Sheila G, sweetie. All right, we're gonna go check it out for a minute and see what's going on here. We're up near Superior, and oh no. Well, apparently it's closed today, so we're gonna move on. All right, we're at Apostle Islands National Lake Shore area. We're driving in. Check her out. Excuse the bugs on the windshield. However, we're in God's country, as they like to call it up here.
In a quarter mile, turn right.
See, we're going to turn right in a quarter mile and be there. So, all right, we're at the Apostle Island Lake Shore National Park. First is Twilight. Not the USS Minnow. The Twilight Fisherman. There we are. That's pretty neat, huh? Fish by the pound. Gill nets. Pretty neat. Huh. Oh, back here I got the lifeboat, fishing boat, got fish in it. Huh. Who knew? Oh, here's the honey here.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go in. Here we go. Here we go.
You're not allowed to go to the White House this summer because of the construction going on. The barge is carrying all of the
Alright,
construction.
we're walking on the outside of the visitors center of Apostle Islands National Park. And there's the bridge. And boat ramp fees. Boat ramp's closed, looks like. Or no, looks like it's partially open, but they're working on it. And then there's a big anchor over here, looks like. Yeah, it looks like they're working on stuff here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. National Park boat out there, and there's a anchor. Historic shipwreck, steamer Savona. Sorry to say that. There's the anchor. Anchor's away. All right, and we're walking. And now we're gonna head up and probably towards the back to our Apostle Island tour. Yes, and we're walking. So, all right, we'll keep filming and we'll talk soon. All right, we are in Bayfield, Wisconsin. Getting ready for our tour of the Apostle Islands here shortly. Nice little town. That's where we're going to here shortly, down there to the shore. This is the little town area.
You're right.
Here we are. There's the old National Bank, First National Bank. Boom. Now it's the Bayfield Artist Guild. Alright, and we're walking. We're in the Bayfield Memorial Park, established in 1948. And as we swing around, we got our Sheely. And then the USS Bayfield. Over here. Dedicated July 4th, 2006. And then the monument of those in 1969. Very nice. And here's kind of the bay. I don't see the SS Minnow, so I think we're okay for Gilligan's Island, even though it is considered a 2.5 to 3 hour tour. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Reminds me of a show. I can't remember the name of it though. Alright, let's talk to you a bit. Alright, we are on the dock of the bay. I know. I cracked myself up. Over here though, there is a boat with the U.S. Army on there. Look at that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And we're walking. A lot of fishermen. We got the Eliminator. Northern Comfort. Yeah. So here we are, northern Wisconsin. Yeah, we're heading out to the place here. We got a neat thing here.
Pretty.
That is pretty.
The birds.
Yeah, the bird's coming out of there. Yeah, it's pretty neat. All right. All right, we're gonna get on the boat soon. Here it goes.
No, you're right. Oh yeah, that, yeah, that sounds right. Because the ferry we went on in Tampa was not a car ferry, it was just a people ferry.
Come on, you can do her. Come on. Come on. Tiger. Truck. There we go. All right. And they're off. Now they're cruising. They're cruising along just fine. Yeah, there they go. And they're off. For real this time. For real. Alright, there they go. And we're about to take off on our 2.5 to 3 hour tour. 3 hour tour. Alright.
I forgot this too.
Alright, we're getting ready to go out of the harbor. Into the bay. Moving, cruising, right? Slowly, but surely.
Both of them, or well, one is. He's going to look for dinner. Anyway, so these stones were cut out of the quarry, and no boat ever came to get them. They weren't put here by the park. These are what's left. Them poor people that were working out here when it ended, they probably had to swim back to the mainland. It's called Lookout Point. Got its name because in the colonial days, they used to post lookouts. If you look to the left and to the right here, you'll notice that you can see a long ways. So with their lookouts out here, they could, well, watch for boats. And of course, if it was an enemy boat, they'd run across that arch while it was standing back onto the island, and they would warn their troops. And that's why it's still called Lookout Point. Except for you people on the right side, you keep looking to the right.
Lookout Rock.
We've reached the end of Madeline Island. You see a big opening over there. What you see across that opening is the state of Michigan. It's actually the Porcupine Mountain area. Straight across from us would be about the Copper Peak ski jump area, if you're familiar with that area. It's stuck. So we're going to take a look at this restored fish camp. And they restored it to that 1930s era. They just picked a time when they had a lot of history and a lot of artifacts from it, and that's what they did. Now, these camps and lighthouses out here, the Park Service relies a lot on volunteers and rangers, and that's to man these stations. They're out here for a couple of reasons. First of all, they're here to give you a great tour if you want a guided tour. Or if you're having a little bit of an emergency, and you can't make it back to the mainland, they carry your radio so they can get you some help. Now you could come up to these islands, any of these islands. They all got docks on them, well, almost all of them. You can come up and use them docks. You don't have to pay anything unless you moor there overnight. Then they do ask for a small fee. Oh, there's our volunteer coming out of the cabin there. He's giving us a wave. Why don't we all give him a big wave? Let him know we see him. So that first cabin at the end of the dock, the one to the right, that was Yelmer's. It's called the governor's cabin. That is done up just like it was in the 1930s. All of his stuff is in there, a bunch of fishing equipment, so on and so forth. It is open. The guide or the volunteer, he'll let you go in there, take a look, and he'll explain everything that's in there. Then that little building to the back of it, straight off the end of the dock, that is not an outhouse. That is the smoke shack. That's where they used to smoke some of the fish to preserve it. Just to the left of that, you can see down, well, they look like window frames or picture frames. Them are actually net drying reels. Now, in the early days, the nets that were used were all natural fiber. Quickly. So they used to wind them up on them and let them dry in the sun and the wind. Then they would store them in that next building.
Devil's Island. Up there is a lighthouse. Fortunately, we're not going on the island. But there's the cottage. Lighthouse. There is the lighthouse. And they got a good view of her. There we go. Fortunately, we can't go up in there. Can't we, Sheila?
There's actually a couple of these caves where they're plenty big enough if you have a small personal boat, recreational boat, you can drive right into them. Turn completely around, never touching the back or the sides. You can actually hide in there, so when kayakers come in, you come shooting out and scare them. But they're plenty big. You'll notice out on Devil's Island, none of the trees are very big. Well, on the far side, there's a little bit bigger ones. And it's because, well, over here, they really get the wrath of Lake Superior. In winter, heck, most of these trees on this side, they spend half of their life covered in ice. All right, we're starting to see some man-made things. First of all, you see that old radio tower. That was a radio beacon direction finding tower. Used to transmit a specific signal, which was designated by a letter on your charts. There were about 20 of them amongst the Apostle Islands. If you had the right equipment, you could receive them. And when you received more than 2 of them, you could pinpoint your locations. Now, they're not needed anymore with today's technology, but they can't take that tower down. And the reason is, well, it's sitting right on top of there. See any bird flying over, if they get tired, they need a rest stop. So there it is. Okay, that building, that white one with the green roof and that green plate, that is the old fog signal building. That plate held the 2 horns that made the telltale noise. Now, none of the fog signals are used anymore out here in the Apostle Islands. Again, not needed with today's technology, with GPS, satellite, radar. Heck, even your phone tells you where you are. Then you see the light tower. Up in that light tower, up in that globe, you see that kind of cone-shaped thing or a beehive-shaped thing? That is the original Fresnel lens. Devil's Island Light Station is the only light station with the original Fresnel lens still in it in the Apostle Islands. All the others have been removed, but the one here in Devil's Island, it's kept in here for historical purposes. Now, back in 1901, when this one was being built, it took until 1907 before that Fresnel lens arrived from France. That's where they were invented and they were all made. Well, when they shipped it here, they didn't have bubble wrap, so they actually packed it in butter for the shipment. It took them 6 years to get it here, but it was in butter. You can imagine the workers when they got here, the install would have been for the headlight keeper and their family. Farther one back would have been for the first assistant, maybe the second assistant and their families. Now the reason the families were all here is, well, they're all here a long time. Maybe March or April, all the way through December. As long as there's open water and boats going by, that is done up in about the 1920s era. They picked that because they had a lot of history from then, a lot of photos and information. Left-hand side, where the first and second assistant typically would have stayed, that is where the volunteers and the rangers stayed throughout the summer. But on the right-hand side, it's done up just like it was in the 1920s. All the, well, furniture and stuff that's in there, that was in there back then. In fact, one of the rangers, if he's out here when he gives a tour, he even dresses up in the clothes from the 1920s to give you your tour. When you go inside, you can get into the tower from either side, either floor. In fact, when you take the tour, you do get to go up into the tower and walk around on the railing. The Michigan Island Lighthouse. So when you go in here and you're taking the guided tour, they show you, they tell you everything. In fact, you're going to see a clock in there that was out here in the 1920s. Still works. You'll also see the Queen's Best stove. That was their big cast iron cook stove. And they have one on the right hand side. Big cast iron stove. If you look to the right, or well, in between the lighthouse and that brick building, you see that other little building back there. That was actually called the summer kitchen. And the reason they put that in there is because that big Queen's Best stove that's in the lighthouse, once you heated that up, it is hot, and it stays hot in there for a long time. Can't get rid of the heat. There is no air conditioning out here. No electricity. Well, now they have solar power for the small well pump and some charging of batteries. But they would do their cooking outdoors in that summer kitchen to keep the heat out of the building. Just like you or I, when it's hot, we barbecue outside.